Welcome back to the Behind the Well show. Roger Abel, Elias Randall with me today. Hey, Elias, I really like the new hat that you're sporting.
That was going to be my first question. Do you like my hat?
I do. I love it. Looks really nice.
It's got the new fresh company logo.
Yeah. Molly did great ordering stuff.
I'm a billboard now. Everywhere I go, I'm wearing this hat.
Nice.
So people will say, hey, what's PIWM?
Molly City.
Let me tell you about that.
We find the white line.
Yep.
Molly told me that you ordered a whole new wardrobe.
I got a few things.
Good.
I got some polos, some quarter zips, some hats, swag. I got swag now.
Sounds like you got a bunch of it.
What do you mean a bunch?
I don't know.
Did I get too much?
No, I don't think so. We have no stockpiles.
I only ordered what I was told I could order.
Thought today'd be good to talk about some of the biggest retirement mistakes people make out there. We came up with 18 to discuss today. Yeah, I think people always are looking to try and figure out what they shouldn't do. Sometimes it's easier to tell people what not to do than what to do. So today I thought we would talk about what we see as the 18 biggest retirement mistakes, how we're going to avoid them. And what we've done is we've actually broken them into several categories just to keep it organized. But the first category we're going to talk about is saving and contribution mistakes, because it's actually one of the easiest things when you're thinking about retirement planning. The easiest things to do is control what you save and contribute. And I'm going to let you kind of give me your opinion on this, but the first mistake that we see is not contributing enough to get your employer match.
Ooh, ouch. That's a painful one. That's part of your compensation. Don't you want to get paid what you're supposed to be getting paid?
I think if people looked at it exactly how you said, they would view it differently. But people don't view it as part of their compensation. They almost view it as an expense.
I had someone the other day tell me, well, I don't even do the 401k at my job. I know I'm not getting the match, but I just don't like the investment choices in the 401k. And not a client. This is just someone I was talking to. Didn't say this to them, but I was thinking, I've never seen a 401k investment lineup that didn't have something that you could invest your money in.
And do
so I wanted to ask, how did you come to the conclusion that those options those are just not good for you? How did you come to that conclusion?
The only thing I can think, he or she, I don't know if you're talking to a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. They want more risky assets or more speculative type investments. That's the only thing I could imagine.
And that's great if you do, but take the free money, buy the
index, move on down the road. Just go buy the target date fund. You're going to get a pretty decent outcome. So you're right. First thing, make sure you get all of your money that you're putting into the plan and get all the money from the employer that they're planning on paying you. They literally are planning on you getting the full match. It is part of your compensation.
Yeah, probably doesn't hurt their feelings if you leave some money on the table for them.
The second biggest mistake we see with saving and contributing in retirement plans is delaying the start date. And, it's really easy for people to find reasons to not contribute to retirement in their 20s and 30s. First, you're like, it's 30 or 40 years away. I'm just not concerned about it.
Yeah.
Second, in your 20s and 30s, most people are starting families, so it's expensive, and you see that retirement contribution as an unneeded expense. When you're 28, you're like, I have plenty of time. So we see people get really aggressive in their 40s, and the IRS offers catch-up contributions when you're 50. And that's the biggest mistake we see, is just not starting right away.
Well, when's the best time to start? Yesterday.
Yesterday. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the best day to start. So
Yeah,
if you haven't started, just go sign up today.
That was on our CRM the other day. Our CRM has motivational quotes on the login screen.
What? Oh, you read those?
I don't.
You just noticed.
I noticed them. I wouldn't say, "Oh, I can't wait to read the motivational."
I didn't
quote.
even know they were on there.
You don't notice the big white letters like right in the middle of the screen when you log in.
I just looked to the login and password and hit go.
Well,
I guess
I
I'm oblivious.
I noticed those details.
You're seeing things that other people don't. Number 3 on our list, over relying on Social Security.
Over relying. Yeah, for just thinking that's going to be all the income.
Yeah, I think that's a dangerous game to play, especially if you're under, let's call it 50 right now. I think everybody has heard that, the Social Security fund will run out. The new date was actually moved up a year. I just saw a release yesterday. It's 2034, that the reserves will be completely exhausted. And then the system is just relying on incoming money to fund it. And based upon the current projection, it's a 23% cut to benefits across the board. And that's not optional. That's the law. So unless a lawmaker does something about this, which I'm pretty sure I know when it'll happen, the day before it runs out.
Yeah. If it's going to run out in 2034, it's going to get solved in 2034.
The day before it runs out. It'll just be like all the budget stuff because we're dysfunctional from a, operating together standpoint in the government anymore. And it's going to have to be bipartisan. Like, it's going to have to be a bipartisan bill to fix it. So,
yeah,
over-relying.
Good luck hearing any politician talk about anything that everyone's going to agree on.
Well, Elias,
both parties are going to be saying how the other one wants to take away your money, and
this is all damage that was done over the last 30 years, just utilizing the fund for things it didn't need to be utilized for. Neither here nor there. We have some opinions on how we think they can solve it. And really the easiest way to solve some of this is just push back the full retirement age.
I'm assuming that's what will happen.
Yeah. And while that's not necessarily you're losing benefits, but if the amount you get goes down or you have to wait 3 years longer to get that amount, that's inherently a cut. And I've said for a long time, I think it's ironic that if you're 30 years old, you've never got a Social Security statement.
You can log in on the website and get it. They're not going to mail you one.
How many 30-year-olds are even aware they're going to get Social Security?
All the 30-year-olds that work in financial planning and investment business.
That's it.
Probably.
And guess what? If you don't know what you're supposed to get, it's pretty easy to cut a benefit that you don't know or aren't aware of. Think about it.
Right. Yeah. If you've never seen your statement and know.
Elias, I don't know what my benefit is. You could cut my benefit 23%. I'd have no idea.
Yeah, you won't know.
I'd have zero idea.
Would you rather not know?
Frankly, it doesn't matter to me.
I guess that's where I'm at too.
Yeah, no, I'm actually planning on Social Security being zero part of my retirement.
As am I, but if it is part and I do get it,
that's the gravy.
I'm spending every last dollar every single month.
Well,
I don't care what it's on.
I have this discussion with my wife all the time. Social Security is just the gravy. Like, if we get it, great. If not, no big deal. I mean, everything will look a lot better if I'm getting an extra $70,000 or $80,000 a year from Social Security.
I could have some fun on that.
I'll buy some cool stuff with it. I'm going to spend it all too. I'm doing exactly what you said.
Every single penny every month. I'm not, none of that Social Security money's going to get saved at all.
Here's the thing that people don't think about when they do that though. Let's say you retire early and you don't need the Social Security. You could take it to 62 and save it. Like, that doesn't mean you're getting the maximum amount of Social Security, but it doesn't matter. You can take it when you want. for a lot of people who typically take it at 62, there's two people that take it early, usually. They either need it to retire, like they don't have enough money saved, or they've saved so much, it's just irrelevant. So why wouldn't I just start getting it? And then they actually can go save it and do those things with it they want to do.
Right. Yeah. It really doesn't matter for people that do that. I had a customer tell me, I'm taking it right away because I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. So I thought, hey, whatever, dude.
If it works in your financial plan, that's probably a good strategy.
It didn't matter how one way or the other, but I thought that's one of the best responses I've ever heard to that question.
Well, I've seen this post on Facebook a lot recently. Save for 40 years, or you should take your Social Security at 62. Why would you work for 40 years to only enjoy a couple of them? Why not enjoy, because people pass away early. I'm like, well, that's kind of crappy advice because you don't know what the outcome is of taking it at 62. It could be highly detrimental to somebody. What about the person that doesn't actually know how it works? What if they're still working a full job? They're a do-it-yourselfer. They're like, oh, I saw on Facebook, I'm supposed to take it at 62. And now their benefit gets reduced. And all these other things happen.
Yeah.
Like that just doesn't make sense to do it. But I think the over-reliance on Social Security is a real thing. If you're concerned about it, the way to run this in a financial plan is real simple. The software, you can just say, hey, what's it look like with a 23% reduction in Social Security?
A lot of times the younger the person is, gosh, I honestly can't remember the last time someone didn't want to just turn it off. Most of my younger families, they don't want it included in their planning for their goals. So we just set the Social Security to 100 because you can tell it how much to reduce the benefit. Yeah. Most of the time people go, just do it 100%. I don't want to rely on that at all.
There you go. And that's the same approach I'm taking. Now, for clients who are north of 50, I just don't think the benefit's going away or probably getting reduced. It's easier to just fix the problem with people that don't know what their benefit is or have a long runway to keep working. I believe it will get fixed, but it's going to either require more tax dollars or reduction in benefits for some or all people.
Yeah. It'll probably start as a reduction in benefits.
Yeah.
They're going to raise the full retirement because raising the full retirement age, that's really the easy thing to do for the program. So
yeah, for sure.
I'm sure that'll be one of the first considerations.
Especially if you gotta remember, Social Security came out in 1960. When does it come out? 1960?
Could be. I don't actually know that.
I don't know the exact date, but life expectancy wasn't 80 some years old when it came out. I know that.
Right. And as long as if you move the full retirement age, but you don't do it for anyone who's close, like if they say, okay, everyone younger than 50, we're going to move the full retirement age to, and this is arbitrary number, 70, 72, 75, whatever they want to. If you're younger than 50 right now, you're not even going to really think that much about how that impacts you. So you're just going to go along with it.
Social Security started 1935. Medicare started in 1965.
Now you know.
Now I know. I got those two mixed up. It was bothering me. I'm like, I knew it started because I knew Roosevelt started it, but I'm like 65. I don't think that's him. Healthcare and longevity, some of the oversights that we see here. And this is a big one, is underestimating healthcare and long-term care costs. And one neat thing we have in the software, which I've really started using with people, is I'm just throwing in the healthcare cost estimator, because a lot of things people are leaving out of how much money we're going to spend is cost of healthcare, and mostly because they don't know. So when you drag in the healthcare button, if they retire before 65, it just shows what the marketplace cost would be based upon their income. And then after 65, it reverts to Medicare or a combination Medicare and marketplace if one is still under 65. But it's a really good way to estimate what that cost is going to be. And, if you retire at 62, you're looking at $1,500 to $2,000 a month for a marketplace plan, depending upon, the version that you pick.
Right. Yeah. So that is, and that's one of the bigger questions most common questions we get is, well, what are we going to do about health insurance? Right. So you have to have a way to solve for that. And it's going to cost money, right?
Well,
As
and
we know.
Medicare's not free.
Yeah, it's not.
People think Medicare's free. Medicaid's free, not Medicare. There's a cost to it. And the cost is directly correlated to your income. The more income you make, after 206,000, if you make over 206,000 in retirement from all income sources, the cost of your Medicare actually goes up.
More money you make, more taxes you got to pay.
5 is
I know.
failing to prepare for increased longevity.
That's a common mistake.
Yeah.
What do people think?
I see it on both ends of the spectrum. I see people like, I'll never make it till 80. Maybe, maybe not. But I also had some people in yesterday and they wanted to plan until 99. I'm like, that's great. But there's really no possible way that you're going to spend what you're spending today when you are 99 years old. I said, it's an unrealistic age to plan for. And what ends up happening is you just massively underspend in retirement.
Yeah.
You're just going to end up with a huge pot of money. If that's your goal, that's one thing.
And if you think about the trade-off, underspend in your 60s so you can still have money. And wouldn't you rather overspend in your 60s and then if you're 90, well, who cares?
Dude, after I'm 80, what am I going to do? I hope I can still move around well after I'm 80.
You'll be out on the fishing boat, fishing.
Maybe. Hopefully I can still get on that boat. I mean, there's a time where all the things we do are going to end. Like there are. Like I'm watching, I have some friends that are older, they're almost 80 and they're avid golfers. And now it's like they play 9 holes. They used to play 18 4 times a week. And it's because mobility starts to happen.
Yeah,
like
9 holes. I know some golfers that if you ever suggest playing 9, I'm not getting out of bed to play 9 holes. For me, 9's pretty good. I don't play, but
I don't want to play 18. That's a commitment.
I want to go rip around. I get tired at, you know what would be to me, 12. We need a 12-hole golf course. That's because I'll be kind of tired on that 12th hole, but then I'm done.
You know, that's the benefit of being a member of a golf club or have like a golf membership somewhere versus paying every time you go. Yeah. And this is wild, right? Because it costs way more to have a membership somewhere than it does to pay, like each time you go.
Depending on usage.
I still think it'd be very hard to come out at a membership at a nice place
without being like a daily golfer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but you can stop by and play 3 holes if you want.
That's
you
the
don't
beauty.
Care because you already paid.
But here's what's so crazy about it. So you go play a city course here in town for what, I don't know, $40, but your club costs you $800 a month. Well, you could go out and play 6 holes 20 different times and pay $40 to be exactly the same. But if you pay $40 to play, you feel committed to play all 18 and get your money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
No one's out of the club saying, well, I got to get my money's worth this month. How many times I go out there and play 6 holes, 11 holes? Because I have a time constraint. Like, I'll play 9. If I'm behind, then I go early. You don't feel guilty about it. But man, if you go to that like 18 hole course and you pay for 18, there's no way you're not going to play 18. You got to get your money's worth. And I don't enjoy playing 18 that much. No. I like to play 9.
When I used to buy the public golf course membership in town, one of my moves that I like to do on the way home, I'd stop at one of the courses and play 3 holes. Because I was like, I want to go do something for a little bit. And I would walk too. I don't ever get a car, especially if I go by myself. So I always figured get some walking, play 3 holes, about 30 minutes, still get home on time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Play a little golf.
Some of the investment planning pitfalls we see, number one is failing to diversify. I think the last 10 years is really almost given people the idea that diversification doesn't matter. If you think about it, you could have bought one index or bought 7 stocks. Really, 7 stocks have powered the stock market the last decade. And you've been rewarded by it. And while that's good, one of the things when I was at my Duke conference, I was in a meeting and I was talking about stocks that had like a decade worth of leadership. After that decade, many times they vastly underperformed.
Through history.
Yeah. You had stocks that had great leadership and then they underperformed the overall index. And the reason they were talking about it was if you have one of these 7 or 8 names that have done just phenomenal, you likely have really large gains that are taxable probably. And their whole idea was they have a way to help somebody take a investment that is appreciated a lot in value and pool it into a fund with others and help get index style returns and diversify. And, you know, there's some big names out here where people don't know that type of thing exists and they're just hoping it doesn't go down in value because they don't want to sell it and pay the tax. So diversification.
Do you think it'll be different this time? The last 10 years?
I don't think it's ever different. I think it always reverts to the mean like it always does. That's like saying, you know, the last stock market crash was different. Well, it was different, but the outcome will likely be the same. I mean, it's hard to think that, well, one, technology changes. Consumers change. So it's hard to believe that the 10 companies or however 7 companies that led the last decade lead the next decade. There's going to be some new technology that gets a super high multiple attached to it because this is changing, especially with what's happening in AI and robotics and some of the other stuff. I just think it's going to be hard for the same companies to do it. There's a few that probably will, but not all 7. You're already seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
The Mag 7's not the leadership right now.
So at this time, it is different.
Well, no. If that leadership for a decade,
the leadership's changed.
The leadership
Yes.
will change. It has changed over time. I mean, there's a department store catalog that used to be the greatest thing ever. They don't exist anymore. Because an online company put them out of business and then they rolled out a catalog. Who knew?
Funny how that works.
7, withdrawing in a market downturn.
Whoa. What do you mean withdrawing? Just taking
money out, like not having a strategy. We see this a lot.
Yeah, because if you're withdrawing from the right type of asset, it shouldn't matter. But if this is just assuming you're just withdrawing from anywhere at any given time, regardless of how the market's moving, might run into some problems there.
Well, and I think that, you know, taking a distribution because something wild happened in your life is one thing, right? Let's say you had some emergency, you had to take out $30,000 out of your investment portfolio. Well, you can't really control that. You can't plan for that. It's more, hey, we're retired. We should have a really good plan for where we're going to take our money out during a market downturn. I mean, it's the reason we use the bucket strategy and we set all those strategies up is to avoid taking money from a stock market investment during a market downturn.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to lock in your losses, lock them in, realize the loss, whatever you want to say, right? You want to be able to recover downturns.
Number 8. And honestly, number 8 really is my number 1. Like of all of these things in here, this is the biggest mistake I think people make.
Number 8.
And I'm going to sum it up a little bit before I hit it, but this is where rule of thumb advice can cost you lifestyle. Ooh. What's the biggest rule of thumb that I dislike? And
I'm going to give you 4% withdrawal rate rule.
The guy's changed his mind 3 times. Who wrote this? I had a client in the other day and I said, man, I wish I could have wrote a research paper that the entire industry just bought into. And then 3 decades later, tell everybody I was wrong. and it's a lot higher than 4%. How many people vastly underspent because they believed in this 4% rule?
I think a lot.
I think most. If you ask anybody, okay, if I went and polled people that are 45 years old to 60, said, how much do you think is safe to take out of your portfolio each year? What's the number?
Big majority is going to say
4.
That's one of the most common things people think they know about our business. That's one of the, I know I can only take 4%. Or if they're taking more, I've even been asked this, are you concerned about how much we're taking? Because we're taking more than 4%. Yeah, that rule has gotten a lot of marketing, a lot of articles behind it. So people are kind of anchored to that 4% number. But
which is conservative. I mean, we'd rather people be conservative. But let me ask you.
I'd also rather you spend your money and enjoy it.
Do you think, let me ask you if this is ironic, that there's a radio personality that came out and said that you're crazy if you think you can only spend 4% of your portfolio.
Dude, no, I don't think that's ironic. Radio personalities say a lot of things.
And guess what happened? He kind of turned out to be right.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously,
closer.
Because the individual Bengen who wrote this article about the 4% rule just released a new one that said he went back and redid all the testing, and all but one trial in his testing could have supported a 7% withdrawal. The worst was 4.7. So you start to think about that, seriously. People are living, so two things happen. One, people have assumed that they have to save a lot more money than they really do to live the lifestyle they want. And two, they're going to live way less lifestyle than they could. Now, at the end of the day, do I believe you should stick to a rigid withdrawal rule? No, I think you need to have a very tailored, customized plan that prevents you from having to sell stock market investments when the market's down and provides enough cash to weather most storms, all driven by a financial plan. Like there's 2 or 3 moving parts that go into this. So I just don't believe it's as easy as, yep, you just take X amount each year and it's going to work out. Or like you would say,
give me my 4%.
That's an outcome.
Or like I would say, that's an outcome.
You just say that's an outcome. Number 9, neglecting tax efficient withdrawal strategies.
That's a common mistake.
I think so. Where do we take it from? How many how many people do you know that I have this happen a lot? Husband and wife, they're making $80,000 in retirement. They need to go spend $20,000 on something. I want to take it from my Roth IRA because I don't want to pay any tax.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, like those mistakes, taking the wrong withdrawal. And how often do you think that happens with do-it-yourselfers? Because we want to not pay tax.
More than it happens here.
More than it happens here. Because we'll at least have a discussion with them. Now, if someone says, hey, I don't want to pay tax, and I tell them the pitfalls of taking it, well, that's their choice. But typically, that's the asset, a Roth, that's the asset you want to let grow as long as possible, especially if you're only in a 12% tax bracket. Right? I mean, if it was going to move them into the 22% bracket for a big portion of it, well, then maybe you have a little discussion about it. Try to figure out how to efficiently take the withdrawal. Another example. See this a lot. We're retiring, right? We want to either pay our house off or we're going to go buy a camper or some big toy right away. And you've worked all year. Husband and wife, you made $200,000. You're like, we want to pay off the house, $250,000.
Can you wait till next year?
There you go. Or can we do it over 2 years to officially take the taxes out? It's a huge mistake that people just don't really pay all that much attention to. 10, not rebalancing regularly. This is super easy. Most 401k plans have automatic rebalancing that you can set up. In fact, I was on with a client on TAA Cruft the other day. He could pick how often he wanted to rebalance. He goes, what do you think? I said, just put it for twice a year and you can always rebalance more if you want. But 401k plans are pretty much automatic. We rebalance at least twice a year, if not a few more times, depending upon market conditions and some different things.
Right. And rebound. I mean, that rebalancing is probably a topic some people should be considering. Because we had all that chaos in April, and we basically recovered. So,
11.
try to coach people that the best time to rebalance is when things are good. You don't want to do a rebalance when you have chaos in the market.
11. This is probably my number 2. 11 on our list. Number 2 in my heart. Letting emotions drive investment decisions. We
all do it, right? We all operate between greed and fear with our investments. The key is to not let those things dictate your decisions.
I'm going to throw another one in here. Political affiliation.
Oh man, one's been crazy.
Elias, in 20 years of doing this, I've never had to say that.
I know.
But people's portfolios are now politically partisan. And that's not good. Yeah. The stock market doesn't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. They don't care what church you go to. They don't care. So your portfolio should not be politically partisan.
And I've had more conversation. That's been like the number one conversation of the year.
And everybody's
people
trying to
viewing their money politically. And
they're trying to predict what's going to happen.
Right.
It's kind of like what's going on with the Fed right now. Inflation was 2.1%. We're almost at the Fed's target.
Yeah.
But they're predicting inflation.
They're data dependent.
But they're not. They're predicting inflation. Just like they predicted inflation was going to be transitory in 2020 and 2021. Well, it wasn't. When you're in the prediction business, bad things can happen. You really need to look at your investments with a really clear lens and figure out what is the appropriate asset allocation for me based upon the data, the findings of a financial plan. And then ultimately, how do I implement that and get all the noise out? I read an article this morning on Bloomberg that Jerome Powell spoke yesterday. Every economist they deal with is predicting inflation. It's a prediction. They've been predicting inflation for 2 months because of what the tariffs have done. How do they know? People have to buy things for inflation to happen.
Yeah, the argument I've heard is you're shifting supply and demand with tariffs. But if people can't afford it, if consumers aren't buying, how is that going to sustain inflation?
It's called the elasticity of demand. That's all it is.
That's a big word right there.
I've taken a few economics classes. Go figure. People don't know what that is. But when people don't buy things, guess what happens? There's a sale. I go to Lake of the Ozarks a lot. Every single boat lot, blowout clearance sale.
They're
clearing them out.
Blowout clearance sales are back.
Oh yeah. Lot clearing
times
sale.
Changed. 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago, there was no blowout clear out. Sales was there.
2 years ago, there was a local boat dealership down there running videos wanting to buy boats because they couldn't get enough boats to sell. Today, they won't take your boat to broker it to sell because their lot's full.
Wow.
People are not buying things. So
they got the big inflatable guy, the one that waves his arms.
No, they just have big, cheap plastic signs they throw out there because it's on the highway and all the tourists are coming by. But you start to see those things. I think we mentioned about a year ago. I always get on the John Deere website, the New Holland Tractor website, and I mentioned that you can get a tractor for 0% financing again, 84 months.
You looked at any I kind of need a new lawnmower. Are there lawnmower deals right now?
John Deere just had one. They had 0% financing for 84 months or a rebate.
I actually got a pulley with some bearings that are all not working correctly. So I got to take it to the local John Deere store and see if they can even get me a new pulley. Hopefully they still make them.
You have a Deere?
Yeah, it's old, dude. Mine was made like 1999. It's old.
Oh, my grandpa gave me one when I bought my first house. rider.
Yeah.
That thing was built in like 1970, but it was bulletproof. It's a good riding lawnmower.
Yeah. So mine starts.
Does yours have the snowplow or the?
No.
I had the snow thrower.
No.
I was famous in the neighborhood.
That's what I want to get.
And I didn't have a big driveway, but man, when it snowed, people liked that blower.
I know. We're getting off topic, but yeah, the issue with the snowblower, well, one, we haven't really had big enough snow to even use it the last couple of years. And on my mower, I'm just going to keep buying parts until they quit making them. But I'm fearful that today when I go to the shop, they're going to say, yeah, they don't even make this type of spindle, or it's either a spindle or a pulley. I don't remember exactly what they call them. Probably a spindle.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's an easy part to replace.
12, overspending in retirement. We've seen this a fair bit. Typically it happens with people that don't believe in following the financial plan. And a lot of times we talk to them and just say, hey, this isn't going to work. And many times they don't care. 13, making big financial decisions too soon. This is a big one, actually. And a lot of times people make big financial decisions after they get a windfall. Inherit some money, and they instantly know what they're going to do with it. And we really like people to take a breather. Just think about things. Give it 3, 5, 6 months, see what happens before you start making really big financial decisions.
Sounds like prudent advice to me.
14, forgetting about inflation. This is interesting. It is a pitfall people kind of run into, but I think you and I would both agree that this has less effect on people's spending in retirement than it does their lifestyle while they're working.
I think so. Yes. I would agree with that.
And I think the way we know this is we have been fortunate to see thousands of individuals. I'm seriously like thousands of people that have taken money out of their accounts, and how they take their money out and when they take increases because of inflation. And I don't have a single client in 20 years. I'll bet there's nobody in this office ever who's had a client that comes in every year and says, hey, can I get a 3% increase in my distribution because inflation went up 3%?
Yeah.
They don't.
We don't have that.
So while you should factor in inflation, what really happens is people over time spend less as they slow down in life. Their distribution remains the same, but because of inflation, it's actually less spending power. They just don't know it.
I think it has, I don't know if I view it as a mistake necessarily, but people just don't know, I guess. And do you think people kind of view inflation similarly to like gas, where like me personally, you're never going to hear me say, oh, the gas over at such and such gas station was X. I don't look at the price of gas because 1, I can't control it. 2, I don't care. 3, how do I get where I need to go without fuel in my vehicle?
Well, I think it's a good point.
Inflation's kind of similar, or I know everything's going to get more expensive over time, but thinking about it isn't going to change anything.
I don't think it's a pitfall that people mess up in retirement. I think it's for people who are doing it themselves, trying to get to retirement. And here's why. 20 years ago, if I told someone you're going to have $1 million when you retire, they'd be like, man, that's going to be a good retirement. If I told you today you're going to have $1 million when you retire, you're like, oof, no, that's not that much money.
Oof, yeah.
It's not that much today.
I might need to keep working.
Let alone in 20 years, right? Because in 20 years, that 100's really worth like 600 or 700. It's worth a lot less. Mm-hmm. So I think that a lot of people in their predictions of how much they're going to save, they say, oh man, I could save up 1.5 million. Well, inflation adjusted, it's not that much if you're 30 years old.
Yeah.
I think that's the mistake that people make about inflation. They forget that while they're accumulating, today, if someone said, hey, I'm going to have 3 million and that's a lot of money, that's not what 3 million. Yeah. I mean, right. 3 million in the future is a lot different.
Right. When grandma and grandpa retired, with $1 million and you could go feed your family for $50, it's a lot different, right? Where, now just to go to the grocery store, it's $250.
I've been to Costco twice this week.
Expensive week.
Oh my God. Believe it.
Did you get a roller dog while you were there? The Costco roller dog.
What's that?
Don't they sell hot dogs at that little, they got like a concession stand when you're leaving?
Well, they do, but we get to avoid it because my daughter's allergic to tree nuts. So because we don't know what's in a bun, a lot of those buns are actually made in facilities that have tree nuts. And
man, you guys have the perfect excuse to say no to stuff. I don't know if there's tree nuts in there.
You know what's ironic about it? My oldest daughter, who's allergic to tree nuts, she doesn't really eat very much junk food because
probably hasn't been able to, right?
A lot of the candy bars made in a facility with nuts, a lot of cake. So she really doesn't have a sweet tooth. Now, my 6-year-old.
I wish I had that problem.
My 6-year-old eats like a 55-year-old bowler. Hot dogs, bologna sandwich, and all the sugar I can get. As I digress. And the last two, estate giving and oversight gaps that we see. 16 is giving away too much too early. If you haven't done planning, you could end up over gifting at too early and maybe, put yourself at peril. But if you're working with a good planner and you've done estate planning, which 17 is skipping estate planning, some people don't think they need estate planning. Estate planning is for everybody, not just the wealthy. Because all estate planning really is getting your legal documents in order. At a minimum, everybody should have a will, a power of attorney, healthcare directive, and beneficiary reviews. And last and not least on our list is 18. We see the biggest mistake, people trying to do it all themselves.
There you go.
You should have an army helping you do this stuff. Delegation. You mentioned earlier, you think millennials are better delegators. They might be.
I do.
And the more you delegate, the better it is. If someone can do it 80% as good as you, and you can afford to delegate it, why wouldn't you?
There's no reason not to.
And remember, cost is relative. Most advisors, over the time you work with them, the value they provide will provide a better outcome than you would have had on your own. So it's really hard to attach a monetary value to it.
It is. And what do people say about when something's free?
Nothing good gets free.
Yeah, right. Like that's just like a common.
What do you get for free? Nothing.
Yeah,
you don't get anything for free. There's always someone's getting paid something to do it. No one does stuff for free.
Yeah.
There are charitable people that will do some stuff for free, but it's not free. They're getting benefit from it. It's providing them joy. Think about that. Even people who are volunteering, it's not free. They're getting paid through enjoyment. Like getting paid doesn't always have to be monetary.
It does not.
So with that said, I want to thank everybody for listening. If you're looking for help, you're tired of going about this alone, go to btwellshow.com. We'll get you connected with an advisor and help you put together a financial plan and get what we would consider an optimal outcome for your situation. Hope you tune in next week.
The opinions voiced in this show are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial or tax advisor prior to investing. Premier Investments and Wealth Management and LPL Financial do not provide tax advice. Please consult your tax professional. Economic forecasts set forth may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that strategies promoted will be successful. There's no guarantee that a diversified portfolio will enhance overall returns or outperform a non-diversified portfolio. Diversification does not protect against market risk. Rebalancing a portfolio may cause investors to incur tax liabilities and/or transaction costs, and does not assure profit or protect against loss. All performance referenced is historical and is not a guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. There is no assurance that the techniques and strategies discussed are suitable for all investors or will yield positive outcomes. The purchase of certain securities may be required to affect some of the strategies. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of principal. Rebalancing a portfolio may cause investors to incur tax liabilities and/or transaction costs, and does not assure a profit or protect against loss. Dollar cost averaging involves continuous investment in securities regardless of fluctuations in price levels. Investors should consider their ability to continue purchasing through periods of low price levels. Such a plan does not assure a profit and does not protect against loss in declining markets.